word to the wise here, this is the live production app, and just 2 minutes before we went live on the webinar here, I got a message from our dev lead saying he was going to reboot some of the services that powered the activity feed, which happens to be the first of my demos. So let's keep our fingers crossed. It's working as he said it should. So this is the dashboard. I'm gonna tap over to the activity feed, and it does appear to have data in it, so which is a very good sign. What I want to show you guys is a very specific way to kind of look for opportunities and have the app do the work for you. VirtualScout, if you're not aware, is a feature we've had since 1999 in our web apps, it's very powerful. A lot of usage. You set up a VirtualScout, it does the work for you. You never have to worry about it again. It starts giving you notifications and information in your activity feed. So you see that button up there to the left of more that looks like a bit of a bullseye with a plus on it. Tap that if you're following along. If not, watch this video and tap that. And then it's a 3-step process to do this. I have created some AOIs on the web app. You cannot create an AOI within the mobile app. You have to create those on the web app. Super easy to do. At some point in the future, we will have the ability to create them on the phone, though. I'm going to choose Appalachia, Burnsville. It's just an area up in Pennsylvania. I want to do for my demo. I want to look at, this is the second step, monitoring data. I want to choose the US-Canada rigs. And you can see it's automatically filtered down. It's telling me there's, out of all the rigs in the app and out there being active right now, only 25 are in my AOI. You'll see what that AOI looks like in a second. I want to filter that even further though. So tap filter, and I want to do state equals Pennsylvania. It's telling me there what the breakdown is, but I just want state equals Pennsylvania. I want to do deals for sale in the Marcellus. So I'll filter and go over to play. Choose Marcellus, and this is just tell these numbers that you're seeing. These are actually what is in it today, what is in that AOI today. Those numbers will change obviously over time. And I want to do transactions valued at 500 million or more. So you see currently there's 6, 1, and 2. So I do want to save it. I'm just going to call this app 3, APA 3, I think, because I've done this twice. APA 1 and 2. App 3, and what it does, it will save it. You can see there earlier where I created APA 2, right? So the notification will come through saying that you've created it, and then right now there's not going to be anything in it because what it's got to do is it's got to process and then send you the notifications. But you'll start to see stuff come in your activity feed. I have a ton of these created. You can see I have, for a variety of things here. I've even got some polygon layers there. Those are pipeline layers, MP pipes 1, 2, and 3. So you can create any number of very specific VirtualScouts for you, and it will filter down and tell you when there's something new. So tomorrow, if a new rig moves into that Appalachia Burnsville API that I have, I'll get a notification. I actually didn't show it, so I'll pop this back up again. Down there at the very bottom, I can only get push notifications. When I say notifications, there's really 2 types. There's push notifications, basically what you think of as a text, drop-down notification. You don't have to be in the app. You'll get those for the deals for sale and transactions layer. You will get items for everything in this feed, right? So these are also what I'm calling notifications. You come to the app, they're in-app notifications. So I think pros and cons of this stuff. Really, is really beneficial. You can think of ways to create these specifically to your business, whether you're OFS, EMP, or financial. But if you're an EMP company evaluating opportunities to enter an area, you can see how that's valuable. You can also see how maybe EMP operations side, maybe you guys have just acquired some acreage and you want to kind of drive out and see what's in an area. You can see kind of how the workflows I've described will help you on that. And then just obviously OFS looking for business. You can set up very specific filters to tell you when new business is in a certain area that you work in. So I want to do my second demo here. Zoom back out over to the United States. And I want to show you, I mean, obviously, I think everybody knows this, but I'm kind of zooming in and out by just using 2 fingers and kind of pinching and to zoom out, and kind of the opposite of pinch to zoom in. I think that's self-explanatory. That's a good way if you know where you're working, right? You're working in, northern Reeves County, here's what's in my area. Pretty easy. Tap on any of those, I get the details. Tap on the words, I get the information, right? So that's something I wanted to show for the zoom in and zoom out. But I also want to highlight this list view down here and what we call filter by map. This is really powerful. I'm going to turn it off, which if it's not green, it's off. And notice that none of this is changing, right? It's still on SWN drilling 43. None of it is changing as I'm zooming around. However, if I want to do filter by map, it's changed to only what's on the map, right? So that's a really fast way to have this list down at the bottom kind of work for you. It's in the area, it's in, whatever county this is. And this is just an easy one. It only has 2. So, it's pretty easy. But let's say you kind of zoom in and it's, the rig you're looking for is in this area. So I can pull up the list and I can kind of scroll through. Say, okay, it's the Kenai 18. I know it's Cheyenne Petroleum. Notice the mileage there. That's the distance. Obviously, I'm over in the London area, so that's not valuable, but you can sort it by any number of things, right? Date, if I tap that little I, it's going to tell you what it's sorting on there. It's sorting by spud date for the rigs, right? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to tap on that. And now that top one is going to be the most important one, right? By spud date. Tap A to Z. You can see I've got grouped by H, K, P. So you can see different ways. State, obviously, they're all, I think, in Oklahoma. But so you get the idea with filter by map, I think. Next thing, quick filters. I think these are really powerful, actually. A lot of people don't know about them. I'm going to tap on one of these rigs here and just open it up and go to the card view. You see to the right of every single row, almost every single row, you see a kind of a circle with a filter in it. So what that's is a quick filter, right? So if, let's say I don't know, this is probably a bad example, but I want to look at everything in the North Basin lease. You see that lease name North Basin. If I tap it, it's telling me, well, there's just 2, right? So it's a bad example, but you pick a bigger lease name and you can tell it's going to filter down to just everything that's in that particular lease. There's probably a lot of permits on top of each other here too, by the way, and I can see there's some underneath the rig. So it maybe not a horrible example, but if I tap on it, you can see, okay, there's the H&P, citation, oil and gas. You can see everything that's on that particular lease. And notice at the top where it says show North Basin, it's actually created that little quick filter for me under recent quick filters. Actually, this was a pretty good one, flows, that I did earlier. Tap on flows, it'll zoom back to it. All right, tap it, it shows me all 6 on the flows lease. Flows 3H, 7H, 8H. So very powerful to use that quick filter. And I don't think a lot of people know about that. So I'll just go back to all. And then date filters. I think this is a really good one. Let's do ducks on this one. So here's all the ducks in the app, 9,400 and something. But if I just want to know ducks created in the last week or day, there's an icon there you see on the left. Again, looks like a filter on top of a kind of a wall calendar. And if I tap that, it slides out. I can filter instantly down to 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months. And it filters all data sets, but I just have ducks on. I'm going to tap 1 day, see what's there. So 6 in the last day, new ducks. All right, tap it again, it goes away. 1 week, 45, 46 in the last week. If I turn on any other data set, it's also telling me, it's also filtering those instantly, right? So it's filtered, and you can see it's in green, says 1W. That's all rigs that have moved in the last week. There's probably quite a few, so let's just do the last day. 34 rigs have moved in the last day. So that is all of the second demo, just kind of showing you how to use, saved filters, I meant to show you. Up at the top left, show all, create new filter. This is probably the most powerful, but a little bit probably the most advanced as well. Just create new filter, and you can go through and you can customize this thing to your heart's content and save it forever on our servers where it shows up under my custom filters. I actually saved the same VirtualScout I created earlier in the Burnsville AOI that I have. I actually just created a filter of that as well. So if you think of this, there's two ways you can use this. I can create a filter. I can come back anytime and see what's in that AOI. And I've done that right here by creating that custom filter. The power of filters really is there's more things you can filter down to all of the data sets. Whereas in VirtualScout, there's only I would say half of our data sets that you can use in VirtualScout. But I'm going to tap on Big Chance and zooms right to it. And you can see there's my AOI and there's all the information there. So let's go to my third demo on this app, and it's just reports. So I'm going to tap on the reports tab. This is, again, another powerful area. A lot of people using this. You set up a report once, and then you can come back and access it anytime you want. So I want to show two of the reports I created. The oldest, one of the oldest ones anyway, back in 2017, I created rigs, Gulf of Mexico, down at the bottom there, Mondays at 5. Tap on that. This is just the scrolling list of all, and you can see the count is 30, right? So in the Gulf of Mexico, they're 30. I want to group it. I just did an example I'm going to show you. I'm going to group it by county parish here. And then I'm going to search for Noble. So at the top box there, I'm going to search Noble. You see it filters down the count from 30 down to 3, and it's highlighted everywhere Noble exists in the report. So it actually exists in those 3 rigs twice under the contractor and then the rig name as well. Up at the top, you can toggle between light and dark mode depending on your preference. You can increase the font size and kind of all the way big to small. Collapse and uncollapse is a feature I think people just kind of discover by accident, but it's the upside down double chevron. It just collapses everything to just the headers. And then obviously I can individually open any one. So if I care about any particular area there. The last report I want to show you, go back, is our rig contractors report. And this is probably a workflow much more specific to OFS, but I'll open that up. This is the first time I've opened this today. It's going to take a few minutes, or not a few minutes, but maybe 30 seconds or so. The first time you open it every day, it's going out and actually querying what is new, so it takes a bit longer. I'm going to group it by operator city. I'm going to collapse all. Let's search for H&P. Right. You can see how basically they're working, the operator out of Tulsa. Actually, what did I do wrong here? Contractor city, operator city. I knew something was wrong there. So changed it to operator city and then collapse, and got a lot more operator cities now. And what I'm going to do is actually go down to Irving. You see there's 27 in Irving. I'm going to tap on map all. It instantly goes and shows me all 27 rigs where the operator is based in Irving. And you can kind of guess who that is by tapping on these. It's going to be Pioneer for probably all of these. So a good example, if I've got a good relationship with either, say, H&P or any of the real, any of the contractors in this area, or if I've got a good relationship with Pioneer, I can see what they've got, right? So I can start to work some of those relationships through this kind of workflow. So that's all I wanted to show you on the Rigs app. I'm going to hop into actually the dev version of our intelligence app. I will hop over to our actual intelligence app, but it's the same. There's just a couple features here that we're building I want to show you guys. So This is, again, I'll point out there's a couple of things different in this that you won't see in the version you download on the App Store. And the first thing is basically you'll only see off on the right there, you will not see Brent crude and natural gas. We're adding that in the release that's coming up called the 3.7 release, 3.7. That'll come up in under 2 weeks. And you'll get Brent crude and natural gas, as, you know, in addition to what you already get, which is WTI oil, active rigs, and deals for sale. So we're adding a couple more tiles there. So huge time savings in this particular workflow I'm about to show you here. My recent searches there, Chevron and Exxon, but if I can tap, any letter, and it's got kind of smart search right there. We don't cover every single operator. We cover about 200, 250, I believe. But if you type the first letter, you can start to see what's, like I said, you can get down to what you need. I'm going to go ahead and just tap on Chevron because I've already done it. And it'll load what we call the profile details view. Basically 2 steps, right? I open the app, I tap on Chevron. I got a complete picture of what the activity is for Chevron right now. Active rigs, permits in the last 90 days, etc. Even can dig down in to see the last 2 weeks of research and publications that we produce, which is proprietary content, right? Live feed data, right? So 20 things have come out in our live feed about Chevron in the last 2 weeks. You can see off on the right, all that data there. The reason I wanted to show you this dev version is because that blue button, the launch operator profile, it doesn't exist right now in our live app in the App Store. We had to take it out for reasons I won't go in, but it's coming back. So power that, if I tap launch operator profile, I'm not sure how many pages this is here, but it's quite a bit of content, just all specific to Chevron. And there's some various share options there if I want to get it onto my device. Obviously, I can zoom in, zoom out. A lot of good content. I won't go into this, but if you do subscribe to this, it's powerful. I do want to show you source documents. You see down in the bottom right corner, we got 568 source documents. If you tap View All, I can filter those by tapping that filter button in the top right corner. So you can see if I, just want to look at conference calls, for example, I'm going to turn that off. I can just look at conference calls, hit done, and it'll filter down to that, and then I can go through those. All right, so a lot of good data there. I am actually going to hop over to our live app for the next demo. You can see here's the difference there. It doesn't have Brent crude and natural gas. And then if I go over to Chevron, it doesn't have that launch operator profile. But again, those are coming back. So let's talk about filtering, because this is really how do we get down. There's a ton of data here. If I tap on intelligence, I'm not sure what the number of things we put into this every single month is, but it's a lot of content, and it's all over the world, right? You see international data there, you see information on energy transition. How do I consume all this? Really, how do I get what I want to know about? You see the bookmarks. I can bookmark things to look at later. That's one way. But filter, top right. I'm going to clear the filter. I had a filter set from earlier. Hit report series, and you can see if I just care about, if I'm in the OFS space and I'm interested in Gulf of Mexico, there it is, Gulf of Mexico offshore. If I care about, M&A, there's an M&A special report, right? A lot of good data. Midstream, permits and players, again, for the OFS space, oilfield pulse, renewables. What I want to do is just choose one that's kind of hot on everybody's mind. Basically choose the energy transition pulse. And you can see, actually, that was one of the ones I bookmarked. The top one there, if I open it from yesterday, and again, here's just tons of content, right? So by using those filters, again, you can filter down to what you really care about. I will point out too, if a lot of this information that we put out there, you may say, well, I get it from some other source. If you tap on featured here, actually, let me clear that filter. Tap on featured. And you see this orange banner that it's basically filtered down to everything that we produce that is proprietary. You're not going to get this anywhere else. And I know there's a lot of the content there that people can use. So the very last thing I want to show you, and I think this is really meant to kind of get a little bit more fine grain, right? It's notifications. If you see in the top right corner, we call that our settings. You see I've got a couple of options there: notifications for intelligence and notifications for the live feed. The intelligence is the PDF reports. The live feed are individual items that make up from those publications, right? So a publication might have 20 things in it. Those are each individual in the live feed. I have them on just because I was hoping I would get one. I actually did get one before the meeting, but I happened to open it, and so I can't really show you what it looks like, but it comes in directly in my note. Well, there it is. There's one that came through. You can kind of see US rig count drops by 10, live feed article. I will caution, if you have the live feed on, fully on, you're going to get 40, 50, maybe more of these a day. So normally, and this is what I changed before the meeting, normally we have analyst takes only, or a lot of people do anyway, or off. But if I have analyst takes only, it's going to get me just the analyst takes. And I'll just show you what those actually look like. Is it another category? Let's see, actually. Analyst takes, where are analyst takes? Oh, you know what? I forgot about this. This is why you don't do live demos. We are adding in analyst takes into the actual filter panel here with the next release. So sorry about that. You can do that on the actual the website, but you will still get those in your live feed, right? So, and if you have notifications on, it'll point you directly to it, right? So here's one. You see the third one down, an analyst take. I just wanted to show you what it looked like. So you'll get that in your notification. You can hard press those notifications and not even come to the app. You can just read directly from your notifications, or come to the app if you want to do some more research. The last thing maybe I will say is these notifications do work on Apple and Android watches. So I have one, and Gibson Scott, our leader of intelligence, has an Android one. So I know that he tells me it works all the time. So very powerful for you guys to use that. So that's the last of the demos. I hope you guys have been typing questions in. I don't know, but maybe I'll do a quick time check with Adrian. If not, we'll jump into the future of mobile. Adrian, do we have a little more time? Maybe 5 minutes? You're on mute, I think. I will go ahead. I'll go ahead and jump into the lab.
Too many places to unmute. You can go ahead and do that. We do have three questions already in the Q&A. So keep typing them in. You can go over this, and then we'll get to them.